it's pretty safe to say that if Clint Howard was a Terminator, he could never infiltrate humanity because everybody would be like, God damn, you're ugly. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what would be the first thing I would do if I was a T-1000? Make James Charles culo.
Dude, if James Charles was a T-1000, all the liquid metal will go to his ass.
He's like a midget, which would explain the big ass.
Oh, man. Look, here's the nitty gritty on the Terminators. They really make no fucking sense, okay? A lot of people bitch and moan about the movie we're going to talk about today, which is Terminator Genisys. Oh, it doesn't make sense. They've never made sense.
Yeah.
All right? That supposedly, this right here breaks the whole series. Supposedly complex machinery can't go through the machine unless it's coated in flesh, apparently.
Yeah.
How does that work? It's still a machine that you're transporting through space and time. It's just covered in flesh. It literally falls apart. So shut the hell up. P.S. It makes sense.
Yeah.
What movie were they watching? I don't know. The point is, spoiler, we actually like Terminator Genisys.
You know who else likes Terminator Genisys? Or claimed to and now hates it? James Cameron. Quote, "You are going to love this movie."
Yeah. You know what? And I don't think he hates it. I think he was genuine, man. I think he saw this. He was like, all right, cool. I'm on board. And then, nobody gave a shit. Or really, it's not that they didn't give a shit. Is that they unanimously decided we're going to hate this movie no matter what.
Yeah.
Now, part of that blame, is fair to say, it lays squarely on the back of the promotion for this movie. They ruined a humongous twist in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Kind of a pivotal moment.
That is played as a twist, too.
A twist. It's just laid bare for everyone to see in the trailers. And it's like mind-boggling that why would you do that? Why the fuck? So the moment they revealed that John Connor was at one point compromised and is a machine in the fucking movie, that's it. You just created an entire wave of hatred because we all know how fanboys are. The moment you touch anything and then you announce it, oh, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, man. That's the big, I think the spurring moment in the hate wave. Also, we must not forget that this was the third attempt at a reboot of the series. So there's also that, compounding hatred for each increasing installment in an attempting to reboot this.
Fourth, if you count the show.
That's true. If you count the show, it would be the fourth. Now, some people have this opinion or that opinion about the series. I think everybody agrees that part 1 and 2 are great. That goes without question. I think most people, if you really asked them genuinely, would agree that it should have just ended at part 2. And I still hold to that. It should have just ended there. However, if you're going to continue, you got options.
Yeah.
Too many, some would say, because part 3 was a soft reboot in terms of we're continuing this timeline. So was Salvation, and then that got shut down because of rights issues. And so was this, which got shut down because of rights issues and because there was not enough of a response from the audience for them to, although it made a fair amount of money.
Mostly overseas.
Yeah, it still was mostly a rights issues thing. They lost the rights, they couldn't make anymore. And once again, the movie's being rebooted, or the series is being rebooted with Dark Fate, which, like all the other ones, takes place after part 2, including the show, took place right after part 2. So they've all been trying to carry on the torch since part 2. And I think of the movies, not seen Dark Fate yet, obviously. We're shooting this before it comes out, so obviously I say. Of all the movie attempts, I think this is the one that's most well done, that's most entertaining. Although I do really like what they did with Salvation. I like the mythology they were setting out. It's just Salvation. This one at least ends on a note where you can be like, all right, it ended. Yeah. They're still obviously setting up for, there's questions that were never answered in this movie, but by the end of the movie, they're almost trivial. Yeah. So it gives you a feeling of like conclusiveness at the very least. Yeah. And with Salvation, you don't get that. You're like, damn it, there's still a lot more to this, which sucks. Yeah. It's a feeling that sucks. But I like the attempt of Salvation.
Yeah. And you do get like a little stinger ending with this, which is just something you already know.
Yeah.
But if you just finish seeing it when it ends, it does kind of conclude, and the stuff that doesn't make sense was obviously stuff that they were setting up for the sequel. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall, this movie pretty much pleased me sexually, just like Sarah Connor clearly made that young Kyle Reese get a little boner.
Dude, he was stroking off with that hand that she touched.
Yeah, dude.
Day and night.
And we knew, per what Kyle Reese had told her, adult Kyle Reese, that he was thinking, damn, she's hot.
Yeah.
Oh, little Kyle Reese was clearly getting some wood when she laid that finger on him.
Hell yeah.
But,
wouldn't you, though?
Hell yeah. And then coincidental that the mother of dragons is also the mother of the future?
Not really.
I'll tell you it is, because she's got a fine ass. Here's the thing, you can't replace Linda Hamilton. There's a particular air about her that you just can't replace. But Emilia Clarke did a pretty good job, I think, especially considering she's supposed to be a younger version, and there's the timeline has been altered, so different things have happened to her. So it's fair to say that they could play with the character of Sarah Connor a bit. I think she did a fairly decent job. She's definitely not a bad actress, that's for sure. It's just Linda Hamilton is pretty irreplaceable. So that, I'm sure, bothered some people.
They do kind of give her some of the traits of John Connor from Part 2 in this. Which I liked, but I could see people probably cried about that.
Yeah. So let's... okay, well, here's my question. Besides Linda Hamilton, there have been two other Sarah Connors.
SCs?
SCs. Which one of the two do you think did the best job? The other one is, of course, in the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the television series that followed Part 2, played by, coincidentally, another Game of Thrones alum, Lena Headey.
Yeah.
She played Cersei in Game of Thrones, so we got the Mother of Dragons and the complete bitch playing fucking Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
which one do you think did a better job up the mantle?
I liked SC from the show.
Yeah, I agree.
I think she's just more like an all-around cool chick, whereas this one's like a little more childish. Not childish, but she's younger. So.
Yeah.
But the one from the show was a little more too, in line with.
With the Connor, I agree, man. She did a very, very good job picking up that mantle, and just saying. But anyway, if you haven't seen the show, by the way, that's my preferred timeline post Part 2 at this moment.
Also, just ended without a finale.
That's another fucking reboot to the timeline that just ended. It got canceled before it got finished. It ended, although that one kind of ended in a way where you're like, I guess I could make an ending out of it. John Connor's propelled into the future, and you could argue he's already ready to lead at that point. All right, I can live with that made-up ending in my mind. So it's a troubled franchise, and we shall see where it goes. But in the meantime, like I said, options, and today this was the option that we chose. And yeah, it's got to be my favorite of the three movie options available at this precise moment to me to continue past that Part 2 moment. I think it's pretty action-packed from the get-go without, ever getting rid of some of the hallmarks of the series, like an emotional relationship between man and machine, this cautionary tale of, over-dependence on technology. It's even kind of amped up here and made more timely with the way things are going. Al Smith, this was like a red flag for you. Like, stop buying products, dude.
Yeah. Apple's not the end-all, be-all, dude.
Yeah. So
they might just be just
be the end-all, for real.
Yeah.
One thing I bemoan about this series as a whole is that they keep on insisting on bringing Arnold back. I think this is the movie that kind of did it right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense, and the way they set up how he's aged and everything, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then it's the one that's the least forced.
Yes.
Like, I think Salvations was super forced, where he shows up and he just looks like a clay man in Arnold's shape.
I think Part 3 was the worst.
Part 3 is probably the lamest
dude, first of all, you don't even look close to as strong as you did back in the day. you just look like an old man trying to hold desperately to something. Somehow he looks younger in this. I don't know how, and he looks older. Yeah,
Or he is
doesn't
older.
make sense
Yeah.
that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I think this is the one that handled that the best. I realize why people want that back. It's the same reason they keep on wanting Michael Myers to be in Halloween movies. Like, dude, stop. It's not cool anymore. You know what I'm saying? I get it. People just want more of the same shit. It's who they relate to. It's who they like. I loved Arnold too, but I think really it's Terminators. They're infiltration units. How do they keep on finding this one model and sending it back? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's really, that's what you should be like. Why would John Connor bother to find this model, which by the way his mom was afraid of, and send it back for part 2? Stuff like that doesn't make sense, you know. But whatever, I get it, and I gotta give props to this one for doing it in a way that was satisfactory. And I really like the emotional relationship he and Sarah Connor had. It's not as subtle as the one in part 2, but you know, it's nice. I like it, man. It's a different dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
Give me something. Rap on me.
I think at first I really disliked Jai Courtney. I think he's still probably the weakest one of them. But I didn't hate him this time. He was fine.
I think the reaction to him was like ridiculous.
Yeah,
People were
yeah.
like, "Oh, worst actor." What?
I
What are
never
you talking about?
I never hated he's but I was just kind of like he's the worst part of the 3. I think that's still true, but he's not bad. I mean, he does a pretty good job, and he does kind of take a little bit more of a backseat once Sarah is introduced, and you know, that works for his character, and he does kind of grow into the role, so he's fine.
My only complaint about Jai Courtney is that he looks nothing like Michael Biehn.
Yeah, he looks more like an ape.
Yeah, he's a weird looking guy. He has like a big mug. You know what I'm saying? An ape?
Yeah, he's got like the big brow.
You mean like a caveman style? Like a Neanderthal?
Yeah, a little bit like Neanderthalian. Is that a word?
I guess. Anyway, he doesn't look anything like Kyle Reese, so that's my only complaint. I mean, I thought the guy was good. If we're talking about ugly looking dudes, though, Jason Clarke as John Connor, man, that's one ugly man.
How did he get to look like that from what we saw in part 2? He took a couple hits on the ugly.
To be fair, like Nick Stahl was horrible for part 3. Horrible looking John Connor, especially when they showed him the future. Like, it's just Nick Stahl with hideous makeup.
Yeah.
Christian Bale clearly was a choice, but that didn't go right. So the point is, ugly folk in this movie.
But at least he's evil in this one.
Hey, but they balance the ugly with Emilia Clarke's hotness, so cool.
At least John Connor's evil, so you're like, all right, he's ugly and evil. Makes sense.
Ugly evil, if you will.
But he's got some ugly ass scars.
Yeah, disgusting. I mean, granted, he's supposed to have those scars, but
they look gross on
his
him.
face is already hideous, so the hell.
That being said, I think he's pretty cool. I liked his character, and he does kind of like carry himself in a cool, evil, menacing way. He's at least 10 grillion times more menacing than the TX was in part 3.
Oh yeah, TX is a complete failure. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
How is that supposed to be an upgrade? 1, 2, lame. 3, man. This is what you got?
It's not good.
Christina Loken?
Can't act.
You already got somebody that can't act as a Terminator.
Yeah.
Man. Come on, man. Don't throw in another one. Man, Terminator 3 sucks,
That's
dude. It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
Anyway, give me something else, man. If you, I gotta say, wait. The effects on this, while not as impressive as, say, part 2, they are more extensive, and they are pretty satisfying. But that says something to the worthiness of part 2. That comparatively, there's less effects work, but what's there is 100% for the benefit of the story. Here, there's a lot more actions, and there's a lot more action. There's a lot more sci-fi imagery in the mix, and it's good across the board to passable, but it does leave you with that feeling of at points maybe less could have been more. That's not a complaint. It's just we've seen that work before with the series, part 1 and 2. So there's that to take into account. However, I think the whole affair is so breezy and that you don't have time to really think about that unless you really want to fucking nitpick on it. But you know, as far as the 3 sequels that exist movie form at this point, again, I have to keep on saying that. Thank you, Dark Fate. I would say that this takes a backseat to like the Salvation effects, which are pretty impressive. Definitely, however, beats the shit out of Terminator 3. Sucky!
Yeah, Terminator 3 is like
Effects
the worst, dude. It looks like a TV. Looks like a TV movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's this one sequence. I think it's when they go to get all the guns and Sarah Connor's
comes out with the coffin.
Dude, I don't know why that sequence looks like they shot it with like 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Soap opera effect to the max. Anyway, we're not talking about Terminator 3 sucking donkeys. We're talking about this movie. Give me something.
I like the little beginning half where it does kind of recap some of the stuff that we saw in the previous 2 movies, and at least in that and when it comes to that stuff, it doesn't feel cheap. There's a couple line retreads that, of course, you have to have in every single Terminator movie that do feel a little cheap, but the stuff that they show from the first half, where it's just stuff that's supposed to happen, the timeline's messed up, so everything's kind of happening at once. That was cool.
Yeah,
and I think they did a pretty good job of kind of matching some of the look of the other 2 movies, and it was just a neat twist on the stuff that you were kind of expecting to happen. Also, the T-1000 is now Asian.
Yeah.
Hashtag
T-Asian and nope.
Microween.
He's made out of milk dogs.
Yeah.
Not liquid metal. Liquid milk.
Dog.
Yeah, that's right. Liquid dog milk.
Liquid dog juice.
We somehow made the word only like completely separated it. Anyway, I think the only a mistake or oversight in those recreations of the original footage, only with new things, is that they didn't shell out the money to make Bill Paxton look like a young punk and recast him again. Totally worth the investment, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was still around at the time. Why not do it, right?
He would have been so de-aged, it would just be as a full CD creation.
Might as well. Fucking Arnold.
Just walking around like that.
The Arnold effect here is pretty fucking impressive. The young Arnold, is pretty fucking impressive. Way more impressive than it was in Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
Which you're remembering as a blob, apparently.
No,
but it looked pretty good. It's just here it's used more extensively, and it looks pretty fucking good. Pretty seamless, I would say.
You get an Arnold versus Arnold fight, which is pretty cool.
It's the type of shit that's just fan service, and it works, And there's a lot of moments like that should have tickled many a pickle. But of course, by the time the movie came out, people were already crossing their arms, looking at the poster of Terminator 2 on their wall.
Nodding their head.
Or shaking their head.
Yeah.
Typical fanboys. And, hey, man, I used to be that way too back in my day. And then I grew up and realized, hey, wait a minute, we could just judge a movie accordingly. Yeah. So I like this flick, I gotta say, more than I should, maybe. Sure. It's frustrating that we will never get to see the conclusion.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it does set up some interesting questions, like who sent back the Terminator, and just what's gonna happen with Skynet, because I think that little stinger thing. So yeah, it would have been cool to see all that, but people suck, and now we're not gonna be able to see it.
Yeah. Now theoretically, we could have seen it had the rights issues not gone sour. However, by then it would have been more to please China than us, so that sucks.
They could have brought more Asian Terminators in.
Yeah, tiny little micro dings. By the way, that was a segue, by the way, and reality. But the point is, there's a running gag in this about Kyle Reese's micro wiener.
Yeah.
But really, we just took it as Kyle Reese never changes his pants in the original Terminator.
Yeah, dude.
And there's a line which is supposed to be about him covering his micro wiener. but the Terminator says it like we also have pants, in reference to him having clothes for him, and just saying, man, I think that was intentional. Like, dude, you gotta change them pants, dude. It's a problem.
Yeah, like if you remember the scene in the original Terminator, when he puts those pants on, there's like a freaking stain.
Yeah, there's a shit
that looks
stain
like
on
straight up feces on his butt.
And he wears those pants.
And in this movie, I mean, you don't see the stain, but just going off memory, you know that stain is there, and there's fecal matter on the pants, and he just wears them everywhere.
Dude, he never changed them, huh?
No.
Like in part 1, he never changed them?
No.
Damn. Nasty ass man. I mean, I get it. He lives in the future. He probably stinks.
Yeah, but
there's no showers and shit.
Bum butt.
But damn, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking caca on your straight up James Charles culo. Anyway, what do you think of the action in this flick, man?
I think it's pretty good. There is a lot of it. I think that I don't think it reached, obviously, if you're gonna be a douche and compare.
Mm-hmm.
I think the stuff in part 2 is more impressive still.
Oh yeah.
And more memorable, obviously. But there is some cool, like, set pieces. I think my favorites are just the stuff in the past because it's so cool visually. And you do get a lot of those little callbacks and stuff that are cool and they're not shitty. So yeah, but yeah, the part 2 is still like kind of mind blowing that they did that back then.
Yeah, part 2 is such a benchmark that it's hard to beat. You know what they did. That being said, like I said, this movie kind of just goes in hot, man. It's action from point A to Z, basically. Very few moments of respite, you know, and when they are there, they're pretty valuable. There's this kind of funny B plot involving this cop that saw Kyle Reese and the Terminator back when they landed in 1984, and it's played by J.K. Simmons in his older age. And I really like that, man. I wonder if they would have continued something with him, presumably, in whatever they had planned. But that was interesting because I always thought about that when I was watching the original movies. Like, what about the standby, you know, the bystanders, I'm sorry,
the only
that
one
catch glimpses of this stuff? What do they think?
The only, like, carryover character was that guy from the Looney Bin, basically, that he was, like, in almost every movie. And the show, wasn't he in the show, too?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember either, honestly.
Time to revisit that show.
But yeah, he was kind of cool. He was a little funny guy.
Yeah.
You know?
The humor was pretty well handled. You know, way better than the fucking humor in part 3, which is fucking atrocious, man. Shitty humor in part 3. So I really liked the humor here. There was a lot more of it than you would expect. But you know what? It worked. It worked for me. It pleased me. Yeah. Tickled the old bung, if you will. Speaking of bung tickling, Emilia Clarke hit me up on that bung tickle you promised that kid. I'll take it.
Dude, a major con for this movie is that they used their butt, you know, their free butt for the PG-13 on Jai Courtney's ass and not hers. Like, come on, man, really?
Yeah,
show his butt.
It's not good.
At least
to be fair, her butt's all over Game of Thrones, so...
Yeah, but still.
You know, she probably was like, this is my butt break movie.
Yeah.
Show his ass. Anyway.
He was already naked. They're like, dude, why are you nude? We're not even filming yet. James Charles ass.
I haven't even been hired yet. Yeah, James Charles stunt butt. Anyway, James Charles stunt butts aside, let's give a final score on this movie, again, relative to this type of movie. If a Terminator 2 is like a 10,
damn,
and it should be, and a T1's like a solid 9 in my book, you know, I really should go higher because I really love that movie. But let's be serious. Everybody just remembers Terminator 2 because it's like the sequel.
It really is.
Yeah, if those are the score for those, then we got to make it relative to those. So where does Terminator Genisys stand? Any final thoughts in the process? Give it to me.
I really like this movie. It pleased. It had a lot of pleasing moments. It gave me the thing that I wanted since part 2, and that's the liquid metal T-800 at the end. And when I saw it in the movies, I actually shat myself.
Literally. And then you gave your pants to Kyle Reese.
Yeah, he put him on, dude, and he was rocking that James Charles ass. I was like, dude, stop showing it. Anyway, it's not a perfect movie, but it's fun, and yes, if you're gonna freaking pick at it, it's not gonna make sense. But none of them are.
None of them do.
So time traveling is just a thing that happens with time traveling. If you look at it for too long, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But if you're not gonna be a dickhead, or at least give it a chance, you might enjoy it. I'll give it 10. Part 2 is a 10. I'll give it 7.5, possibly an 8.
Yeah, I'll mirror that, man. I'll give it a solid 7.5. It's pretty damn fun. It's pretty entertaining, and I honestly think the way they explain everything
Yeah.
regarding time travel makes pretty solid sense. As far as that goes, as a conceit of film,
Yeah.
and given to taking into account that a lot of the stuff in the other movies, if you think about them, doesn't make sense. Um, it falls in line with what's been established with the series. I mean, I really honestly don't get these complaints. I don't get them. But, whatever. To each their own. I dig it. You didn't? You didn't. If you do, you do.
As long as you
And I
give
do.
it, as long as you give it a fair chance.
Yeah, as long as you
We're
give it a
cool.
fair chance, then fuck it. Now, if you're just repeating what everybody else said and or just decided to hate it, well, then maybe that not so much respect there. But we happen to love it, and we hope that you do too. And if you don't, give it another shot, man. Maybe things change the second go around. They usually do for us sometimes for the worst. Anyway, part three, man. Woo.
This is a spoiler. I actually liked part 3 the first time I saw it, and then I bought it on DVD and grew to hate it with a passion.
Here's what I'll say about part 3. I'm trying to think of something positive. I liked the fight between the Terminator and TX. Looked pretty good. Had some weight to it. You could feel the weight of the Terminators. There was some decent effects work. And I liked the ending.
I really liked.
That's it?
I really liked how the T-800 looked when he had all this shit ripped off him. I remember actually being kind of like, "Whoa, how'd they do that?" Because it was like back
in the day before
when there wasn't green screen everywhere and shit. Yeah. It was just kind of starting, and I was like, "Damn, dude, the leg! Look at the leg!" And then later I saw the movie, and I was like, "Whoop, stinky."
Yeah, Arnold looking like an old man, old man leg.
Oh shit.
Anyway, that's our thoughts on this movie. Hope you had fun hearing us blabber about it. In the meantime, hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons, because I guess we're out.